Hello folks, welcome to another episode of 4x4 Viewfinder. I'm Adrian Silg and today we are doing a bit of an experiment. First of all, shout out to Rais for convincing me to do this. Basically, if you've been following on Instagram, I've started a project which shan't be named until now. I'm going to do a straight pipe on the Fortuner. Now, before I break the internet, my plan is to have a proper system fitted eventually, but I thought for now, why not play around a bit with what we've got and see how it turns out. Maybe I like what the sound is like when it comes out, and then also I know what type of system to get once I get there. So yeah, basically short and long is today it will be a two-part series, as it were. First one today, we're going to do just the exhaust box. We're going to do a straight pipe through the exhaust box. Next video somewhere down the line, we're going to make a muffler of the can for the catalytic converter, which, as you know, we've removed quite recently. Right, but now, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the job. Right folks, so we're under the car. I'm going to show you now. I'm not going to bore you with making a video about how I remove it. I'm just going to remove it and then we'll start to work on the inside, because that's going to be the most time consuming. But basically what's going to happen is, here's the catalytic converters can. Alright, I'm going to remove here, and also in the front, you get somewhere there where the pipe goes up. I'll remove it there. So I'll do this section first and make the conversion on this guy. Then I'm gonna put it back. So I have this spot, this location here. Then I'm going to remove the exhaust box, basically this flange here, and there's another flange at the back somewhere there. I'll remove, and then the exhaust box will come out, and then from here we'll just make a straight B line to the back to make it line up. I'll either do it from there, depending on how much far they are out, because they're a bit offset, but we'll see how we can make it work. And then spot weld it here on the spot, and then take it off, and then weld the straight pipe in. My other idea I had was also to not use this flange and just make the straight pipe run from there all the way through to the back. But yeah, the problem is with that is, if you do that, how do you remove this pipe? So put it back and to remove it is going to be an issue. So I don't want to keep this flange in the center here, and then yeah. Alright, so I'm going to get into it and remove them and get you on the flip side. Alright folks, so back to this thing. I thought I would need to maybe align that bit with that bit there, but I don't have to, because as you can see here, it goes there, the S-bend goes up, because these two are not evenly aligned. I thought maybe I'd have an issue, but it appears not. This guy here lines up with that there, so basically I can just put the straight pipe straight from there up onto there, cut and paste. I think that's simple enough. And then yeah, the only thing now is to make sure that this bracket and this bracket stays in the same orientation it is now. So I do have a bit of a plan for it, but I'm still working on that, but I'll show you on the video. Alright, so previously mentioned plan that I spoke about. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut this piece off and I put this flange back on the car. I'm going to cut this piece off, put it back on the car, and then I'll basically put a piece of pipe in, and then I'll spot weld it just to make sure it sits, bring it back out here, and then weld it completely. I don't think I should cut them off and then by eye align them, because that normally doesn't turn out well. Right, then from there we'll attach these holding brackets again that will just secure the pipe. And yeah, but first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a measurement from where I'm going to cut here to where I'm going to cut here, an exact measurement of the pipe that I need to use, and then cut that piece out with a little bit, let's say 2 centimeters each side, so that I can fine tune it. But hopefully my pipe fits inside this pipe. That's what I hope. But that remains to be seen until we cut here. Right, let's start cutting.
To feel the sun shining on me. This house is a jungle. You gotta fight for your place. I was born in the rubble. Gonna keep on climbing. Ooh, for the people that said that I couldn't do it, I take every word, burn it like fluid. Just a red light running right through it. On the top of the mountain.
Alright folks, so the measurement from there to there is exactly 91 centimeters. But I thought before I fix this thing in place, let me first do the easy side. So I'm going to take the straight side and weld it up that side. That way I know I'm more or less sorted with regards to that. Then I measure like 5 centimeters longer, cut it, then put it under the vehicle, measure it and make sure that I've got my lines perfectly right with regards to this guy. Then I can mark it and I know I'm not going to miss anything. Unfortunately, this pipe is the exact same diameter as this pipe. So this I thought was a 63 or 62 mil, and as a matter of fact it lines up perfectly with this. So either this is not the original Toyota exhaust pipe, or it is measurements people have are out. So, but yeah, we'll take it from there and see you on the flip side. Alright folks, so there's the first section welded. The trick apparently to welding exhaust boxes is not to try to do a continuous weld all the way through. You divide the pipe into 3, you spot weld it on those 3 spots, one at the back and so on, so it doesn't warp or distort into a certain direction. Then from there you start at your one spot weld and you spot weld. This might look like a continuous weld, but it's actually spot welds. And you try to maintain your heat all the way around, so try not to overheat it so that you burn through, but give enough space between your spot welds so that you give it time to cool, but also stay hot enough so that you get good penetration. You don't have to start over with the heat the whole time. And then you do a section. You'll see here, this is a section I did. That's a different section, and that other one down there is another section. So I keep doing them in different sections so that I don't overheat the pipe, and that way you get a good penetration with the weld as well. We'll sand it off now with a grinder and then we'll have a look. Alright folks, so after sanding it down, you'll see those little holes. Those are the ones you don't want. That's poor welding. So basically the reason I sand it down is so that I can see these little holes, and then you basically just go through and fill them up again with the grinder, with the welder. Alright, let's fix it up. Right folks, so there you have it, welded there. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to use the bolts and the hangers and hang everything the way it's supposed to be, line it up perfectly the way it's supposed to be, and then spot weld on 2 spots here on the exhaust pit, this part on the curve here, and then take it off again and then complete welding it, and then we'll have a look. Right folks, we're almost there. There's the middle piece. So now I'm just gonna finish welding it up, making sure it doesn't have any holes or anything, and then mounting it. Then there's these 2 little arms, these guys. I need to lengthen them or find a way for them to hold this part here. I'll find a spot for them to sit as well, and then we can connect them up and Bob's your uncle, and we can test. Alright folks, she's fitted. Beautifully lined up, if I may say so myself. And now it's time for the startup. Fingers crossed. Alright folks, here we go. there you have it. Our straight pipe is fitted. Join us again soon for part 2. We are going to take this bad boy and I'm going to turn it into a baffle, or a muffler as it were, using the can of the catalytic converter. Just to take the edge off, I took the vehicle for a drive just now, and you can't really hear it. The microphone doesn't really do it justice. It sounds a bit like an empty can. So I think with a baffle in it, it should actually take that excess noise away and just give it a bit more refined sound. So that's my plan. And but yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's that for today. Join us again soon. Until then, happy 4x4ing.
Now look at me on top of